Hey, what's up, guys? So, with everything going on in the world, in the U.S. especially now, we've been getting a lot of questions about, how is this affecting you with the coronavirus or COVID-19, whichever one you want to call it. It's both the same thing. Um, but really, with our situation, it really doesn't affect us. We're almost in the ideal situation for this whole scenario. We've got a small space, so keeping it clean, keeping it sanitary is pretty easy for us. And that's the biggest thing, guys, is you just got to work on trying to keep clean, work on your hygiene, which is really sad that we had to come to this for people to start working on their hygiene. And I'm guilty of that too. I didn't wash my hands nearly as often as I probably should have before all of this, and now I'm washing them until, my hands are like burning and itchy and dry all the time. But it's really easy for us to keep the place clean, really easy for us to kind of control what comes and goes from our trailer. So in that aspect, it's really easy for us. And right now, since we're not traveling, it makes it even easier because we're not having to worry so much about whether campgrounds are closing, whether, our next destination is still taking on people or not. With us sitting still for the couple of months, we're fine. And we even talked to our campground the other morning, and they're not planning on closing or refusing anybody just because of the fact that they do have full-timers here. So in that aspect, we're doing fine there, and it's really not affecting us that much. We're sticking it out like the rest of you guys. So we just wanted to make a video, let you know that, in terms of full-time RVing, you almost have the perfect scenario. And then we just kind of wanted to go over a few things that are kind of our thoughts on the whole situation.
So I guess one of the first things that we wanted to just mention, and it's kind of an obvious thing, is be kind. I think throughout this whole thing, and we're only in the beginning of it, sadly, is everybody is being so mean to each other. The kindness isn't seen very often. When it when it is, it's amazing. So I think something we really need to practice on top of good hygiene is being kind to one another. In the end, it's going to be all about how we treated each other, and we need to come together as a country. We need to take care of each other. We need to look out for each other. So don't be rude or be nice. Everybody's in this together. Everybody's scared. Some people are more scared than others. So be there to help them.
And that's a big thing, guys. With the whole social distancing thing going on and everything, that social distancing is saying, we're not having block parties. We're not having those spring barbecues right now. But that doesn't mean that community doesn't still exist. And a big part of that is there's people in your community that during all of this are going to need help. And they're going to need people that will reach out that helping hand. But, there will be people that in your community that are more susceptible to this disease or virus, and that really just shouldn't be getting out for their own safety sakes and for the safety sake of your community. So with those people, just reach out to them, and if there's anything that you can do, definitely, especially people that are our age, that we can still get it and we can still be carriers. So by all means, still practice caution and still be aware of it. But you don't have to self-isolate to the point, if you're not showing symptoms, that you can't help. And that's a big thing to me, is that I think people need to be, especially in a time like this, you need to come together as a community, and you need to be willing to reach out to each other and reach out to and help those in need.
So the grocery store, let's discuss that a little bit. So first of all, we have the panic buying. I still have not figured out why y'all are so scared to run out of toilet paper. One of the signs is not even that you have diarrhea, so I don't really understand. I get wanting to have some in case we're stuck, but this is ridiculous.
If you have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks and you need more than a case of toilet paper, you might not have the coronavirus. You might have some other issue going on. But even if you have a large family, 2 cases maybe. But
well, and that's the thing. Make sure you're thinking about everybody else. When you're going out trying to prepare for the end of the world for yourselves, what about the people that have none and they're just going to have to go outside and use a leaf?
Some people don't know what poison ivy is.
But, even with past the toilet paper thing, I think that's been discussed by everybody a million times and nobody can figure it out. So, but with everything, we're going to the store now and we can't get anything. I couldn't get wipes for this kid. I was to the point where I couldn't get diapers. Luckily, we got some. Formula. We were on that day, we had to have formula because I didn't realize everybody was going to stockpile that. Didn't have formula for my son. You know, it's things like that. You have to think about everybody else. Get what you need and not more than that.
And that's a big thing too, guys. In all of this, if we look at the other countries that are doing quarantining, if you look at China where this originated, I'm not saying by any means that this started. It originated in China. They were self-quarantining and they were in a lockdown situation, but they were still allowed to go to the stores. One member of the family was still allowed to go out and get groceries, get the necessities. So even if we come to that point in this country, you're still going to be able to go out and get stuff. And if you stop this panic buying and you stop just buying everything off the shelves, and I understand some people are going to get aggravated and there's that whole me, not me kind of mentality going on right now. If I'm not going to be the one, you're not going to be the one. If you stop, then it's going to give these industries time to catch up, and it's going to give the stores time to restock. And you're going to have the ability and the opportunity to go out and get these things. It's not going to be a situation where industry shuts down and there's no more. What's causing the issue and the shortages now is the panic buying that's clearing the shelves and not giving the companies time to catch up in production and giving the stores time to catch up in stocking. And so if you'll just slow down, just buy things like normal, you'll be able to get it still. You'll still be able to leave your house and go get the stuff. So you don't need to go and clear the shelves, guys. Everybody's in the same situation. Everybody's in the same boat. You're not helping matters by just clearing the shelves. So keep that in mind when you're out shopping, guys.
So when you go, just one of the things, and you know, we were doing this for a little while. We would go to the store because we're sitting here and we're like, what do you want to do? I don't know. Do you want to go buy this? And being honest, we were going because we were bored. But I noticed now, yesterday, everybody's doing that. There's nothing else to do, so everybody's going to the store. Well, if you do that, we're not helping anything. We're just making it worse because we're all getting together at the same place. So go to the store if you need to. Don't keep going because there's nothing else to do, and limit, the number of people that go. I stopped going inside and I stopped taking Elias. I thought, okay, if I'm holding him, it's okay. He's not touching anything. But Kenny's like, I'll just go in myself. And so we now sit out in the truck and he goes in by himself if we need something. So limit the amount of people that go, and go as little as you have to. If you run out of something, it is what it is. We can't right now live the way that we always do for convenience. Find something else to eat.
Right, and that's a big thing, guys. It's just, part of this social distancing thing is to limit your exposure to other people. Because this thing it is strange how it works. You've got that 14 days of being asymptomatic before you really start seeing the symptoms that go, oh, I'm sick. And that's the whole idea with this social distancing and the self-quarantining is to limit that exposure and to limit the transmission of this disease and keep it from going any further than it already has. And so that's why we started doing the one person in to the store thing. And the other thing is that it puts a lot of people at ease. I noticed when I was in the store yesterday, we had to get some groceries, and there's a lot of people that are really scared, and they have every right to be. A lot of the elderly people, and not necessarily the people that I would think would be really worried. Some of them are just like, if I get it, I get it, But some of the people that are in like their 40s and 50s, they're panicking when they see somebody coming down the aisle. And I had one lady that every time I'd turn down an aisle, she would turn around and go the other way. And she wasn't done on that aisle, but she just didn't want to be on the same aisle as somebody. And so I don't condemn people for being scared. It's okay to be scared, and it's okay to be cautious. But so with that, just go ahead. There doesn't need to be a family of 6 running around in the grocery store. Just one of y'all needs to go in, get what you need to do, and then come out and go home. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Something I did think about that I'm noticing other people are thinking about too, because it's starting to run out, is make sure that you get yourself over-the-counter medicines. Everybody's thinking about food and toilet paper and things like that, but what happens when we're quarantined and you get sick or your child gets sick? Just make sure you have it. Again, don't buy it all, but buy, get some ibuprofen, get some cold meds. I have crazy allergies right now. have been trying not to sneeze in the store because I don't want everybody to stop and stare at me like I'm going to give it to everybody. I have allergies. So make sure that you have what you need for being at home.
And that's something to remember. It's cold and flu season on top of all of this. So with that, there's going to be people that are sick. It doesn't mean that they have coronavirus. Like I said, right now in our area, we've got flu, strep, allergies. I mean, we're running the gamut here on colds right now. So just keep that in mind. Not everybody that sneezes, not everybody that coughs, they're not passing the coronavirus to you. You know, they might just be sick with an everyday cold. But that's one of the things that's really confusing about this right now.
So we wanted to make, a lot of our videos are towards RVers and RV life, but we wanted this video to be, kind of a comforting thing and advice and tips for everybody, because we're all going through this. But we also, obviously we're RVers, so we wanted to put a little advice in there, different tips and things that have worked for us so far and things that we've heard about from others. One of the things being to call ahead, make sure that the campground that you're going to next isn't closed down. And Kenny kind of mentioned on that before. I called the other day ours. I assumed they wouldn't shut down, but there's a lot of things we've been assuming weren't shutting down, and they are. Mm-hmm. And they said because there's so many full-time residents, they won't. Who knows, they might eventually shut down from new people coming in or weekenders, I'm not sure. But right now, they have no plans of it. Because our plan is to stick it out here until right. We don't have to. And if they were closing down, we'd have to have another plan. So make sure that you call ahead, you plan ahead, figure out what's happening. Have a plan A, B, C, and D. Don't just have a plan B because it's probably not going to work out for long.
And we're going to put a link below for all the campground closings that we've heard of and that we know of. Like I know right now in North Carolina, the state parks are closed, so there's no state park camping. But one thing that we do know that we checked on this morning was that Boondockers Welcome is still accepting, their hosts are still accepting campers. And some of them have even gone so far as to say, we'll even accept people that are self-quarantining right now. With that, they just want you to go ahead and let the host know that ahead of time, just out of caution and just out of, why wouldn't you tell them that? And they're saying they're not turning people. There's hosts that aren't turning people away because they're self-quarantining. They just want to know ahead of time. So Boondockers Welcome is definitely still accepting campers.
There are some that are turning down. Don't
right.
get offended if they turn you away. They just want to keep their family safe, and that's how they feel they're going to do it. So a lot of them are, but make sure you ask them before you just assume.
Yeah, Thousand Trails, they're not accepting anybody right now. And again, that's just out of caution, and that's out of, a lot of those Thousand Trails, they're close-knit. It's not necessarily more crowded, but it's a little bit closer spaces. So they're trying to limit people's exposure to one another. And, I can't fault them for that, so. But that just goes into call ahead. Make sure, and be sure that you have a backup plan in case that first plan doesn't work out. It gives you a chance and it gives you time to go ahead and come up with what you and your family's going to do.
Elias is not getting the attention he needs from y'all, so. Something that I heard was, in an RV, you're in a small place and you control your atmosphere. And that's right. You are controlling how clean it is, how sanitary it is, and what's going on in it. And it's the same thing in a house. So just in an RV, it's a little different. So just keep your area clean, keep your area safe, and, we'll all be okay. Okay, so some of the tips that we have for y'all, number one is to be smart. Like we said before, not to keep going over the same thing, but, everybody's scared. Just be smart. You'll be okay. Be smart about what you're doing. We went the other day, we were out, and this lady comes in. She kicks the door open. I don't know how she got it open. I guess she put her leg all the way up to pull the handle, kicked the door open with her leg. As soon as the door opened, she starts spraying Lysol everywhere. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many cans she went through.
It was like that scene out of a movie where like the old lady walks in and there's just this cloud of perfume that's permeating from her. Only it was lemon scent Lysol. It was a laundromat. We were at the laundromat.
But she just sprayed it all the way through. When she got to what she wanted to use, the dryer, she again kicked it open with her foot, sprays the entire thing inside. Like, whatever anybody wants to do, that's great. Do what you need to do to make yourself feel safe. But when I walked back through and didn't even get to where she was at, she wasn't even in there anymore, it took my breath away. I couldn't breathe from all the Lysol. So when I say be smart about it. Think about everybody else around you. And honestly, I don't know that helped anybody, including her. So...
there's extremes for everything, and you just got to realize when you're getting to that extreme point and try and stop yourself. But the other thing that we do whenever we go anywhere, we've got liquid gold is what we have. We have hand sanitizer wipes, and we had
way before all of this.
Yeah, I don't even remember why exactly we bought them before, but we had a whole bunch of them.
Because we do this every day, Kenny. It's not because
that's true. We are extremely clean people.
No.
But whenever we get back to the truck after, say, like yesterday when I got to the store, Heather handed me one, and I wiped down my hands, and then just it's that whole thing of being smart, If you've been touching something that possibly could have had some germs on it, go ahead and wipe down your hands. It's okay.
And I think something we're all learning is that now that we're not allowed to touch our faces, we're touching our faces very often. It's so hard to do.
My face itches all the time now.
So if your hands are clean, it's not as big of a deal that you had to scratch your face or you didn't realize you were. So another thing is when you walk in your door, go wash your hands. First thing you do, I don't care where you were. Go inside. That should be like a routine now. Step foot in your door, go wash your hands. Then you're keeping your environment that you live in clean because any germs that were on your hands from wherever you were are now gone.
Right, and that just goes back to keeping your space clean.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the biggest things that you can do to help prevent the spread, help prevent it from inhabiting your living space. I mean, just be aware that when you come in, you've been in an area that could have possibly had some coronavirus in it. Get it off of you, get it off of you and get it out of your house. And that just goes to being aware of your surroundings and knowing exactly what you've been around, what you've touched, what you've handled. Even though they're saying that, the surface life of this virus isn't that great, there's overabundance of caution, and then there's just caution. Use caution, And that comes into that 6 feet rule that they're saying now, keep 6 to 5 feet of distance between you. They're saying right now that they're not positive that this is something that's, what they call aerosol, where it lingers in the air because it's mainly transmitted through droplets of coughing and sneezing. And so that's why they say keep that 6 to 5 feet range between you and the people around you. Doesn't mean live under a rock or, completely just run away from people when you see them in the streets. This isn't, like the Wild West where everybody's just got to run because everybody's out to get you. That's not the case. And so, 6 to 5 feet, you should be fine. If you're going to cough, you're going to sneeze, do it into the crook of your elbow, where your arm bends. Just cover your face like that so that you're, one, that's going to keep people from around you from going, man, that guy's disgusting. He just sneezed all over the lettuce in the, in the produce section. I've never done that. I'm just saying, it could happen. But, be clean, be friendly, be polite. And, this social distancing thing, keep your 6 to 5 feet, and that'll just keep people around you comfortable.
We were outside, Elias and I, the other day. It's actually been really nice here lately, except for today. It's back to the 40s. So we were outside. He was, body painting. And there were 2 different neighbors that came up. And I told Kenny, I said, yeah, I hung out with so-and-so today. They were down there, and we were over here. So they'll just stop, at the end, we're up on the porch, and they're about 10 feet away, talking. So, especially in this kind of environment, I keep thinking, we're really, I don't want to say lucky, because, not that this happened or anything, but that we are where we are, because we can still see people. We can still, in a way, interact with people. Oh, no. But it's, I keep asking, can we go outside? Can we go hiking? Can we still do these things? I don't know. CDC right now is saying it's okay. I do know in China, they had the big, trucks that they were putting all sanitizer into the air every night. So I don't know that we know, but to be scared to live, it's something I can't do.
Yeah,
I'm going to be smart, but I'm not going to be scared to live.
Don't be afraid to get outside. Fresh air's never hurt
Yeah.
anybody. And, so if you want to get out and go hiking, get out and go hiking. Even the states that right now that are doing the shelter in place, like New York and California, they're saying you can go out and you can go hiking. You can go out, you can get groceries. What they're saying is that you don't need to be out at the bars. You don't need to be out having block parties and having these huge spring cookouts because the weather's getting nice and they know that's what people want to do. That's all they're saying. They're not saying that you cannot leave your house. There's no police state yet. And I don't think we're going to get to that. So don't be afraid to get outside, get some fresh air, go hiking. That's fine. Just again, social distancing. Keep that 6 to 5 feet. You'll be fine. You'll be okay.
So as we've been not finding things at the grocery store, I've been looking on Pinterest. I've had a friend that's been sending me recipes as she finds them for things that you can make at home in case you can't find them. And one of them was the wipes. I actually made the wipes. They're not the best thing in the world, but they work and we've been using them. So I actually made a short video that I'll add to this of how to do it. There's even how to make your own formula, which I haven't tried, I haven't had to, for those of us that can't breastfeed. And then I'm also going to add to this one the treadmill. Kenny didn't know what was happening, and I just told him he hadn't seen the videos. I'm sure all of you have, but the homemade treadmill, since we can't go to the gym right now, so he got to work out a little bit, so I'll also add that. But practice good hygiene every day. Take this opportunity to teach your children, to teach your family as a whole, how to use good hygiene. One of them could be that you're teach them how to, wash their hands by singing a song.
Don't you have a song for that?
Yeah, I'm not going to sing it, but tops and bottoms. It's one that I taught my class when I was teaching, and now the whole school uses it for everybody. But there's several. You can look it up. There's several songs that meet the time that you have to wash your hands. Make it fun. Don't just say, go wash your hands, you got to do this. Kids are going to get frustrated with it. I know I do it. I need to say, Kenny, let's go sing. Instead of, Kenny, did you wash your hands?
Well, because the answer whenever she goes, did you wash your hands? I go, no.
But another thing, as a lot of you know, I work for VIP Kids, so I teach children in China online. And these kids are so smart. I mean, I teach anywhere from 3-4-year-olds up to 14 years old. But the little kids even, they know all about this virus. Their parents took the time to teach them so they weren't scared. Because they're locked in their houses. They can't leave. They don't know what's going on. Everybody's getting sick. So take the time to, in a way, for a child to understand, teach them. But the mascot for VIP Kid is Dino. And what they did was they put a mask on him. One day I was teaching a class and I used Dino all the time, and they asked me why my Dino didn't have a mask. So that's what I had said to Kenny. I said, I know you have the mask, I'll have to get one. And that's, they know to wear a mask there. Here, I know there's different things saying, if you're not sick, don't wear them. But over there they had to, and they still have to for everything they're doing. So putting on their little stuffed animal, putting a mask on there, blowing the, Dino's nose, things like that. Just not make it a fun time, but make it a learning opportunity.
Learning experience. But and that's a big thing is keep your kids informed. Let them know what's going on. Don't leave them in the dark. And don't think that it's going to scare them. Just don't make it scary. But keep them informed and let them know what's going on. But I don't know. Guys, the biggest thing is just come together. Don't forget about community. Community still exists, and you still have the opportunity to reach out to people and make those connections and really help people in a time of need.
Okay, so with all of that, now that you sat there and listened to all that, I know that so many people are posting videos, and we weren't going to because of it. But we felt we wanted to be on the other side. A lot of videos I watch are, kind of scary. It scares you, and it's a lot of information. And Facebook, that's all it is, things about the virus. And yes, we want to know what's going on, but not in the point where it's scary, because I've even gotten to where it's making me nervous. But when I get nervous, I get smart. So I guess
I get sweaty.
In the long run, it worked out. So if you haven't noticed, we have shirts. We got shirts made, and I'm really excited about them because they came out really cool. We didn't really know what to do, so we did 2 different kinds. We did one that's not necessarily just going to be for, oh, this is RV life, and if you're in an RV, you buy it. If not, you don't. So it's Nomad, and it's what a nomad is. It's basically a person who doesn't stay in the same place for long. They're wanderers. And then on the back of our shirts, I don't know if you can see them, of these shirts, is Follow the Journey, and it's just, telling people about our YouTube, which when we make more, we won't have that on the back. That's just for us.
That's just kind of our shirts, the insider shirt.
This is the one
This is the other one, and this has our name, kind of more the RV style. You've got the travel trailer on it, mountains in the background. It's got our name across the top. And this shirt here, actually, we've got, how many of these did we have made? 4?
Just 4 right now, yeah.
4 right now, because we wanted to see how good the person that was making them could do, and they turned out really well. So this shirt right here, actually, we're going to give y'all a chance to get one if y'all want one.
Yeah, so we're going to do a giveaway, and what we want to do is just, I want you to post in the comments what it is that you're doing to be safe through all this, or what you're doing to be kind or helpful in a situation where everybody's, so scared. What can you do to make others feel better? So obviously we need you to subscribe. You have to be a subscriber for any of our giveaways. Like our Facebook page if you haven't already. Share our video. And then, you can either post on the Facebook or you can post on here a comment. And then we will pick probably Tuesday. And then we will send you a t-shirt.
So yeah, guys, again, thank you guys so much for checking us out. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing us with your friends. And during this time, let's just remember the people that are kind of on the front lines of this thing. Let's remember our healthcare providers, the first responders and stuff like that. And, we wish the best to all of them. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so just put a little bit of Dawn, just drizzle it on the floor. You don't need much at all. That's good. Okay. Then you're going to get a little bit of water in your hands and just splash it onto that area. Use both hands.
I'm not thrilled about doing this on the floor.
Okay, now use your foot to move it around. Okay, so now you're going to hold on to the edge of the counter, and you're just going to move your feet, turn towards the counter. And then you're just going to use your feet and move your feet. And then if you want to turn it up and go a little bit faster, and you could go even faster if you want to be a really fast runner. Can you turn it off?